Hi. So I wanted to hop back on here. It's cold here now, officially. It's cold. So sitting on my porch and just thought I'd put my little headband on. But no, I'm not going anywhere fancy. But so I did want to talk about a few things. Like something that concerns me is like I hear people. Usually it's a lot like in the recovery community. Like I hear people complain about kratom saying, oh, I hate the withdrawals and yada, yada, yada. And I have to ask, well, did that person research the plant before they decided to consume it? Like it's important, like we have to take responsibility for our actions and our behaviors. And we are adults, and so it's important to do your research about anything that you decide to put in your body. And like if you're new to kratom, if you are thinking about trying kratom, then I really want you to ask yourself and be honest. Be really honest with yourself, and I hope that you are in a position to be honest. Ask yourself, what kind of personality do you have? Like, we are all different. Like there is a there's a large amount of people who have addictive personality. If you're one of them, don't get hung up on that label or whatever. I hate labels. We all have strengths and weaknesses. Thankfully, I don't have an addictive personality, and that really saved me, I'm sure. And I am a very strong person, thank goodness. But I mean, it's not about being strong either. I mean, yes, it is too, but it really does make a difference if you do have an addictive personality. Because if you do, then I'm sure this is true, that it's just harder. It's easier to get addicted to things, people. You could get addicted to a person. There's so many addictions. I mean, you can be addicted to anything, any substance, food, like I was saying in my last video. It's not like just drugs or something. It's not because something has a high addiction potential. I mean, yeah, that's part of it, but it really comes down to the makeup of the individual who is consuming whatever it is that they're consuming. Like, shopping is very addictive. Like that totally, affects dopamine and gives you a dopamine rush. That is addictive. There's so many different ways and things that we can become accustomed to. There are healthy habits, there are bad habits, but my point is if you do know this about yourself, and if you are having, it depends on your scenario also. Like if you are if you're taking heroin and you are in dire straits, you are on the brink of death, if you're overdosing and you're struggling on heroin, then oh my goodness, by all means, try kratom. It will save your life. However, it is, it can be like a slippery slope for some if you transition to kratom and don't work on your underlying issues that drove you to abuse heroin or drugs or whatever it was that you abused in the first place. So that can be an issue, because I'm seeing, some people run into problems and they just think, oh, kratom makes me feel better. I don't have to deal with withdrawals. I was able to transition, and that's fine. Everything is fine. I'll just keep taking this and don't worry about it. But then they don't work on their addictive mentality if that is an issue. And then, maybe they had to take large amounts to begin with because they're experiencing pause, and well, they were consuming or that, they were shooting up heroin or, some other hardcore drug. And so, the harder the drug is, usually sometimes you need more kratom to help you out. So that's a situation right there, because the more you take something, then the harder it is for your body to stop taking it if you are taking large doses for a long time, long term. And, if you, like, before I started taking kratom, I did research for months, and I knew full well that your body can become accustomed to it, and you can maybe become dependent on it physiologically. And that's the case with a lot of herbs and medications. I don't think people realize that. That's why, on the side of the bottle, on your medication bottle, a lot of times it says, do not stop taking this medication suddenly and without consulting a physician, because you can have negative symptoms, and basically it's withdrawals. And just like psychotropics and benzodiazepines, those are the hardest to wean yourself off of, because those medications literally change the wiring in your brain. So it's just the withdrawals are so hard to deal with. It's just really hard, and I feel for people who are going through that. But my point is, I wish people could take accountability instead of bashing kratom, and just start, being adults and taking accountability for their actions, and being thankful. First off, being thankful for kratom if it saved their life, and if they started taking it without doing research and they didn't know that it it can produce withdrawals if you take tons of it long term, then that's really nobody's fault but their own, because we need to be responsible, and we need to know what we are consuming. And I think it's really sad, and it adds more controversy to our plant when so many people complain, or they started taking kratom and they're taking it, and now they're turned against it, and they want to get off of it, and they're saying, oh, the withdrawals, I can't stop taking it. And I ask myself, well, did you taper? If they don't want to be bothered with that, well, that's on them also. I'm not saying that kratom is perfect. It's not. It's pretty close to it, but just because, there are some negative side effects to medications and herbs. That's the way it goes. That's life. And I don't think it's fair for people who maybe it didn't work out for them, and they have to quit kratom, and it's no longer a good fit for them. I think it's really selfish for them to bash kratom across the board and to dismiss millions of Americans who are giving their testimonies, and all the people who take it for chronic pain, whose lives kratom is changing literally. And that's what I tell people too online. I think, wow, that is downright selfish to just only think of yourself and say, oh, well, these people it didn't work out for, and I'm having negative side effects. Therefore, it's dangerous. And that's not the case. And, even if they are having negative side effects, it's not killing people. That's the bottom line. Kratom doesn't kill people like drugs kill people. And this double standard with methadone and Suboxone, I just don't get it. It's people are they gotta be either ignorant, like the people who are taking methadone or Suboxone who condemn kratom. That doesn't make a bit of sense. Suboxone is a partial agonist. Kratom is a partial agonist. Suboxone gives really bad side effects. People, all I hear from people who've taken Suboxone is that it causes them to nod off, like when they're out in public, like they could be sitting at the table or something and they nod off. Or, I mean, I'm thinking, well, what about when they drive? I mean, that's dangerous. Like, that's harmful. Like, Kratom doesn't produce side effects like that. Kratom doesn't make you nod off. It doesn't impair you. It doesn't alter your mind. So, no, Kratom isn't harmful. Some people get mad at me when I say that, but I don't see how is it harmful? I mean, maybe it makes you feel like crap if you stop taking it. Well, how much did you take in the first place? I mean, take accountability for your actions and your behavior. And it's just really important to address your underlying issues, because I really don't want I don't want to encourage anyone to take this plant if they don't want to do the work. Like, I mean, even though, yes, it's safe and all that, I don't support anyone taking Kratom in the wrong way. There's a wrong way and there's a right way to do things in life, in my opinion. And there's a right way and a wrong way to consume Kratom, in my opinion. Not everybody agrees. A lot of people, think, oh, just take whatever, it's fine, it's safe. Well, I don't agree with that, because, the more you take of something, the more negative side effects maybe you can have. However, see, to me, a negative side effect isn't necessarily harmful, in my opinion. Maybe some people don't agree with that, but, in my eyes, and the definition of harm is like bodily harm, is if you're harmed. And so far, I don't really see that. But, maybe, yes, you won't feel well. But if anything, I think that Kratom, it's very safe, especially if you take it in moderation. Always use the, less is more approach. And again, the more you take of something, the harder it is going to be able to decrease or to stop, because your body just gets used to something. But it doesn't mean it's harmful or bad. And again, always make sure you hydrate and you drink water. But again, if you always consult your physician, because that's important. I'm not a doctor, but I do really want to talk about people who do want to maybe stop heroin, or maybe opioids, like hardcore opioids, like if they're taking oxycodone or fentanyl, that's much stronger than Vicodin. You might have to take heavier doses of Kratom. However, I don't believe that you'll have to maybe take that for your whole life. Maybe just the first year, or at first, when you're transitioning, or to help with the pause. But I just wish that people would think more before they speak, and just not be so selfish and just only think of themselves, and take accountability, for shortcomings. I mean, we all have shortcomings. I'm not perfect. I'm far from being perfect. I grew up way too fast. I was exposed to so much toxicity. I mean, my mom was the perfect mom. I love her so much. I had the best mom. But it's just, I was around, I got stoned for the first time when I was in 6th grade or 5th grade. And then me and my friends, we got smashed on screwdrivers, and we cut school. This is an elementary school. We cut school, drank screwdrivers, and then went back to school. That's crazy. I mean, I can't imagine my son ever doing that. At that age, I would die. There's no way. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it was fun, but of course that's not healthy. That's bad. And so I'm very thankful that I didn't really get heavily involved in all that. I mean, I was given crank. Like, I did my first line when I was like 11, because I was around it. Like, I don't want to just expose the person. I mean, it was my family member. I am getting tired of like holding on to secrets though, because for so long, like, I was the one to be blamed for like sexual assault and everything that was going on, and that's just wrong. I know I'm such a good person, and I don't think I ever really gave myself credit for how strong I was all those years when I was a kid. And but that's something to go into more later. But yeah, like, the trauma, it did cause me to engage in like more riskier behavior. And so, I got myself in some tricky situations, like in my later teens. And, there's some things that I did that I wasn't really proud of. And, a lot of it was because the trauma that I endured. So I just, I engaged in like dangerous behavior. Like, I was always, just attracted to danger, more of like a thrill seeker type thing. But yeah, so we just, we live and learn. And just, I'm thankful that I didn't block my trauma out, because that's how, I was able to address it, because I didn't block it out. There's so many people that are wounded and they don't even realize it. Or like, they have behaviors, like maybe they do have severe addiction and they don't even know why, because part of their brain has blocked out the trauma, because the trauma is just so severe and it's just too painful for them. I mean, it's not like they consciously blocked it out. I mean, they don't even realize that. And so then in essence, they have, some negative behaviors, and they bleed on to everyone, around them. And so it happens. But if you do know that, you suffer trauma, and it's like deep down inside, get some help. Like, it's never too late. I mean, check out, like, go to a social worker or something. Like, again, like I said in my previous video, social workers aren't, they don't prescribe medications. So, like, if that's something that is important to you and that you don't really want to do the medication route, I'm saying some people need that, and that's great, especially when you're going to therapy. It's painful, and sometimes you do need medication. But if you don't want that, or if you're not interested, go to a social worker. Try and find someone who fits your personality. Like, if you do make an appointment and you see someone and say the appointment goes awful and you don't like them and it just didn't go well, don't give up, because one of the keys to therapy being successful is finding the right personality type who matches you. That's huge. In order for counseling or processing of trauma and therapy, for that to work, you have to feel comfortable, and your personalities have to mesh. I don't think a lot of people know that, but that's very important. And mental health is so important, and I'm not going to stop talking about it. It's so important to me. And like, my whole life, I always wanted to talk about things. And like, I was always the one who was made out to be, oh, she's dramatic, or, oh, she's so emotional, or whatever. But, now it's like, I'm thankful that I was like that. Like, that's not a bad thing, even though they made it out to be like a bad thing. Like, they didn't make me feel really good. a lot of my family. I mean, I'm not trying to down anyone, but it's just the way it was. And but it's good just to be yourself. Like, that's one thing I'm very proud of myself for. I always stayed true to myself, no matter what. Like, I never changed myself for anybody, or like, I never changed myself to fit in. And I'm very proud of myself for doing that. And, look at now. Like, I have a lot of support from you guys. I appreciate all you. And so, everyone just keep on keeping on. And if you suffer sexual abuse or assault, it's, get some help. Or if you want to talk, message me, and I will provide, the phone number to resources. And, just keep your chin up and know that it was not your fault. It's never your fault. And it's so unfair because that's how we are made to feel a lot of times. And most of the time, if say when you were going through that, if you did tell somebody and they got mad at you or they didn't believe you, a lot of times the reason for that is because that person maybe went through the same thing and they have either blocked it out or they just don't want to talk about it. And I mean, I'm not giving them an excuse, but that's a lot of times what is going on there. And of course, some people, they repeat that behavior, which thank goodness, I could never do that. No, never. I would never touch a child. I mean, I'd rather die. But yeah, it's very important to try and get help if you can. And so, okay, more on that later. And love you guys, and I hope you're having a great night. Okay, talk to you later. Bye.